The Sims 4 has been around for over 10 years at this point, and therefore we have a lot of add-ons. And I realized that not every single person has every single pack, so today I wanted to do a completely base game build. I've never ever built anything completely base game, so it was a really fun challenge, and it helped me to get out of my comfort zone and use a few base game items in a way that I normally wouldn't. For example, there are these base game decorative, very chunky columns that, first of all, I've never really used, and second of all, I never even thought to put columns kind of as like a fake paneling on the side. You're gonna be able to see it later. And also it is a modern build, which if you have seen one of my previous videos, I have mentioned that this is a goal of mine, that I really want to be better at building modern stuff, because I tend to go for something a bit more traditional. For example, I really love craftsman style builds or farmhouses. Oh, I think farmhouses are one of my favorite architecture styles, but I realized that this type of build does not really work well for community lots, and that is also a challenge that I want to give myself, to build more community lots. And the reason why I decided to build a gym is something that I've already mentioned in my previous video, but I have been doing videos on themes. So we first had a Christmas house to celebrate Christmas, then we had a nightclub to celebrate the New Year's Eve, and now since it's the new year and I feel like a lot of people are having New Year's resolutions, we are having a base game gym, because people usually say that, oh, my New Year's resolution is to get fit, go to the gym regularly. To no one's surprise, I have built it on stream, so I will plug in very quickly my streams. It's just twitch.tv/katodeling, and I have built it during our Streammas event that has already ended, but if you want to check out the VODs, I do have a VODs channel that it is linked in the description. But I want to eventually do more builds, both on stream and here on my YouTube channel, especially limited pack builds, because I have gotten a few comments from you just being really grateful for limited pack stuff. So I am here and I'm going to deliver. My goal is to make like at least once a month a limited pack build or something completely base game. Hopefully it's obviously going to be a bigger number in the future, but right now I'm just thinking that realistically I am always gonna try to have like at least one limited pack build per month. And for example, I was thinking that it would be really great to try to make some sort of base game museum, but not just a regular museum. I was thinking of doing something themed, like it would be a specific theme for a museum, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, crystals or archaeology, something like that, or a dinosaurs museum. Actually, that's an idea, and I feel like I could pull this off with base game. And another thing is that I really want to make a library. I feel like a base game library is truly just a must. Let's get into what we actually have in the gym. So there is the reception section. We also have changing rooms, a couple of bathrooms, and then two main rooms inside of the gym. The first one is a running section with treadmills, and the other one is lifting the weights and boxing. And as for the outside, we have the pool section and also a little kid zone, because I figured that maybe this is a family-friendly gym that if you want to work out but you have nothing to do with your kids, like that sounds kind of bad. I mean, you don't have anyone to leave your children with. You can drop them off at the kids zone, and there's going to be some sort of caretaker that is going to watch over the kids while you work out, and the kids can just play around on the monkey bars, on the spaceship. And to be honest with you, I feel like that's actually a really useful thing that more gyms should have. I know a few gyms that have a little kid zone that is very close to the reception. No, is it called reception in English? Now I'm doubting myself. The check-in desk, that they usually have some sort of kid zone area right next to it, so that the person that is working at the check-in can look at the kids, and just in case if something's happening to them, they can immediately react. that. But it's not really a common thing that I've noticed, and I feel like, since this is The Sims, let's make our ideal world. And if we want to have kid zones at the gym, then we definitely should. The gym is called Feel Special, and yes, that is a reference to a Twice song. Basically, the story behind it is that I was looking through debug paintings and I found this flying pig picture, and I just loved it so much that I put it in 2 spaces on the inside, and I was making up the story in my head that maybe their marketing is something like this. Oh, have you ever wanted to feel like a flying pig? Well, don't worry, because you can feel special with us. Join our membership for just $39.99 per month. And honestly, if a gym here would promote itself as like oh, you want to feel like a flying pig? Well, join us. I think I would. I do want to feel like a flying pig. And because of this, as I was building it on stream, I was just continuously listening to Feel Special song for like a couple of minutes straight on repeat because I was just in such a mood. And since I've made this gym specifically thinking about New Year's resolutions, first of all, feel free to tell me what are your New Year's resolutions. I believe I've talked about mine before, but I really want to work a bit more on my hobbies and, well, have some hobbies, because I have kind of neglected having just things that I do for fun. I kind of got sucked into only doing things that are productive / for work, but that is going to change this year. And second of all, I am hoping to be able to make more friends. I'm really determined to try my best to use my platform and reach out to just more people. I really want to make some friends. I really want to get to know people, for example, from the Sims community. The Sims community people are so nice, truly. And I want to feel like I'm a part of that. And another content creation related resolution that I have is that I really want to focus on making my content more about me than just simply the game that I'm playing. Because if you didn't know that, this is not my first YouTube channel. It's actually my second one. I have previously made videos on a different game for over 2 years. But the thing with that channel is that at a certain point, I got so burnt out from the game that I couldn't really do videos on it anymore. And I've noticed very quickly that because I based my entire content only off of that game, not a lot of people were interested in seeing other stuff from me. And that started really affecting me because I felt like, oh, I can't really just be the content creator. I need to be a content creator, but on a very specific thing that no longer serves me. So my goal is that I really want to be able to make content on, first of all, a variety of different things, but I most importantly want it to focus on me and my personality, my thoughts. And that's why I'm also trying to share a lot of these types of things with you guys during speed builds. And I know that some of you just like listening to me while I just talk about my life and myself, my opinions. And I have been looking at different people who inspire me to base my content more on myself. I truly believe that the experts, I guess, in that type of content are definitely VTubers, because VTubers, if you really look at it, they focus more on showing the personality of a person rather than the games they play. And I really want to be able to reflect that also in my content. I don't really want to be a VTuber, but I want to kind of make content similarly to how they do it, which is just simply being yourself, kind of like old YouTube used to be. And speaking of sharing myself and my thoughts, I have finally watched Arcane. I have heard about Arcane for so long, basically ever since it came out. But the thing is that no one ever really talked about it in a way that made me curious about the show. The only things that I've really heard about it was that, oh, it has good characters. And that's it. That's all I've heard about it. And because League of Legends is a game that is mostly focused on combat, I thought that this is probably what the show is about. Just like a bunch of combats and that's it. I didn't really think too deeply about it. And then I finally decided, you know what? I have nothing to do. Might as well check it out just to at least understand the references that people are making. And let me tell you, when I started watching this, my only thought was, why did no one tell me that this show is about fantasy politics? If only someone told me that this show is mostly focused on politics, I would have watched it so long ago. In case you don't know, I absolutely love reading about politics in a fantasy setting. Probably my favorite books ever are all revolved around some sort of big political conflict. And I just did not expect that thing from Arcane. Again, I went into it thinking that this is just going to be some sort of fighting sequence in basically every episode. Kind of like in a lot of animes, for example. You have battles between characters that just last for episodes and they just keep going. And I thought that this is basically what Arcane is. And so I was kind of like, I don't know if I feel like watching it. But I've changed my mind and genuinely, I absolutely loved it. I don't know if this is a controversial opinion or not, but I definitely liked season 2 more than the first one. I don't know what it was about season 2. I think it's because season 2 focused so much more on the sisters reconnecting, and also, you know, the politics were even more present in the second season. So it was just overall a great experience. I feel like I'm not even doing the show justice with the way I'm describing it, but let's just say it like that. After I finished watching the second season, I just sat there in my chair thinking, that is one of the best things I've ever watched. Not only are the characters amazing, the world building is great, but something that I personally really loved, and I talked about it with my friends, so we both agree on it, is that I love how the characters are simply allowed to make mistakes. Because I feel like this is the problem that I am currently feeling with Hollywood, is that characters just, they don't really make mistakes. They're so perfect, so strong, and if there is any conflict, it's just that, oh, he wants to take over the world, but I don't want him to do that, so I'm gonna fight him. But here, not only are characters doing things that they think in the moment are best for them, and then later turns out that no, it was actually a bad thing, they made a mistake, but they also have to face the consequences of that. Because of this, the world and the characters felt so much more realistic, full of personality. I felt like most of the things that the characters did felt very aligned with how they were written in the show. I haven't personally noticed any character assassination, which you would think that this should be a standard, but no, actually a lot of the times characters get assassinated for the sake of, I don't actually even know what, but the characters felt very consistent, and even if I didn't agree with the decision they were making in the show, I still felt like it makes sense for them. I don't know, there was just a lot of thought put into every single character, and I could just gush about the show for hours and hours because genuinely I really loved it. So I am gonna throw it out there. If there's going to be any other show kind of like this, I would love to watch it. I think that on my list of things that I want to watch right now is the Percy Jackson TV show, because if you don't know, I'm a huge Percy Jackson book fan. But the thing is that I've heard so many negative opinions about the show that I'm very hesitant in trying it out because I already know I'm not going to enjoy it. But the thing is that because the show faced so much backlash, I have a feeling that it's gonna get better in the following seasons, and therefore for me to be able to watch the next seasons that are hopefully gonna get better, I do need to watch the first one. And speaking of Percy Jackson, I was rereading Heroes of Olympus recently, and I am finally done, finished all of them, and let me just say that I cried. I've always loved Nico D'Angelo. This is one of my favorite characters in Percy Jackson, but he made me cry so many times while rereading the last book in Heroes of Olympus. series. I just feel so sad thinking about this poor character. And I know I'm not the only one. I feel like most people that have read Percy Jackson books also say that Nico is one of their favorite characters. And I think it's because a lot of us can just relate to him. If you don't know, Nico is a very closed off character who just had a lot of bad things happen to him. And because of this, he has grown very cold and distant from everyone. And he's just really scared of getting hurt. He feels like he doesn't really belong anywhere, that no one really likes his company. Everyone is kind of scared of him. He's just really lonely at heart. And I feel like this is what makes him so relatable, because I feel like in one way or another, a lot of us, especially when we were younger, felt that type of loneliness. I definitely have. When I was in high school, when I read these books for the first time ever, I just felt like I relate to him so much. And now that I'm an adult, 10 years later, I reread these books and I was just sobbing. I was just simply reassured with how much I love this series. And now I am going to move on to reading Trials of Apollo, because believe it or not, I've never read those books. Why? I don't know. I just haven't. I stopped reading any Rick Riordan books ever since I finished Heroes of Olympus. And so I have quite a lot of books to catch up on, because if you don't know, Rick Riordan wrote so many books following the Percy Jackson series in that same universe. I think even now we have Percy Jackson, the continuation. We have 2 new books in the Percy Jackson universe that just came out, essentially. And I'm like, oh my god, I have so many books to catch up on. But enough about books, because I don't know how many of you care about this or even know what I'm referencing. I think this is my fear whenever I'm making these types of commentaries, is because I'm scared that I'm gonna start just gushing about something that I really love, like for example Percy Jackson, and there's just going to be a bunch of people sitting there like, I don't know what you're talking about, so can we like change the topic? I don't want to make people feel like they don't belong here, that this is not a conversation that they can participate in. I want every single person watching this to feel like they can relate to something. So because of this, maybe let's step back and go into talking about the speed build. So right now I'm putting a ton of different decorations, and you will notice I'm putting just so many random things that certainly do not belong in a gym. Like we have a tissue box, some candles, and a towel. I was just trying to fill in space. There is not really a lot of gym related decorations, and I wanted to fill the space in at least a little bit, because without the decorations, the gym felt so empty and personality-less. But after I started adding all of these little details that, even though made technically no sense, they just simply made the gym look like, oh, someone actually attends it and works out in here. As an example, we have this board where you can place the elements that you collect in the game, and I was thinking that, okay, in my head, this is some sort of board where you can write down your goals. So for example, your goal for this month is to gain 1 millimeter in your bicep, I don't know. And so you can write it down, and it's a way for people that attend the gym to kind of motivate one another and keep themselves accountable. I just really wanted this space to feel like the people that go in there kind of have their own little community, and it feels very welcoming to everyone, and you just like being here because it's such a supportive and fun place to be in. Even though I personally, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like going to the gym. I always feel very weird at a gym. I don't know what it is about it, to be honest with you, but I just feel like I don't really belong there. I definitely prefer to work out at home. I do like sports and dancing and all of that. I have attended dance classes in the past, and that type of activity with other people I really enjoy. But gym, there is just something about it that I always feel so off. And now that I have finished the speed build, let's move on to touring the gym for you. This is the exterior of the gym, and for example, these are the decorative columns that I was talking about. I never thought to put them as like a fake panel, but I really like the way it looks. We have a little sidewalk over here, big windows, a lot of palm trees because this is the Oasis Springs. Here we have the kids zone, as I've mentioned, the swimming pool, which I have a feeling no one is really going to use it except for your own sim, but just in case, it is here. We have the reception area with the flying pig that inspired it all. I tried to put a lot of these blue accents throughout the space, so you're gonna notice like this nightstand over here, naked Eliza pancakes, a blue towel, blue candles, you know, lots of different blue accents. So here's the treadmill zone. There are so many windows all around, and when you run, you have this beautiful view. Here is that board that I mentioned that we can pretend it's like a whiteboard and you can write down your fitness goals. There is another decorative space and another. We can pretend that maybe this basket just has lots of different smaller equipment, like maybe some resistant bands and also the weightlifting machines. If you want to download this lot, it is called Feel Special Gym and my username is katodeling, and it's also written, just in case, over here above my head. I'm super proud with the way this gym turned out, and it definitely encouraged me to try to make more base game builds in the future, which definitely look forward to that. And I guess I'll see you all next week. My voice cracked a little there.